to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. There's an issue with the stream, and I'm not sure. Well, do you think that the people watching at home will still know what's happening if the Shabbat candles have already been lit before it's streaming? Or will they not even know it's Shabbat? They'll catch up. What'd you say, Anthony? Surprise. Okay. All right. Well, then in that case, I would like to invite up, okay, good timing. I would like to invite up tomorrow's bat mitzvah, not here at the temple, but as a part of our community, Allison Kuhn and her mother, Nancy, to light our Shabbat candles and read the blessing, which can be found on page 120. Yeah. What? Light first.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishad mitzvotav v'tzilanu ahel shel Shabbat.
Amen. Say it in English too.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. And Mazel Tov for tomorrow. We continue with our service by welcoming in the Sabbath bride with Lecha Dodi on page 138 and 139. As is our custom, we sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach verse 9, I invite you, if you're able, to rise and face the door and imagine Shabbat as a bride or a queen coming through the doors, coming down the aisle to join us in our sacred space here tonight. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, V'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki hi mekor habracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitorari, Kiva orach kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Boi veshalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvetzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. And now that we've opened up our hearts with that opening nigun and reading, and we've lit our Shabbat candles and welcomed in the Sabbath bride, we are ready to segue into our Mariv service with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 144. Yitkada v'yitkada shemei rabba, be'alma dirach hirtei yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchayetecho bet Yisrael, bagala, uvizman kariv, ve'imeru amen, yehesh merabba mevarach, le'alam ul'al me'amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shemei d'kudesha b'richu, leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, ve'imeru amen. On page 146, please prepare yourself for the call to worship. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed, HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. And we continue together in the English on page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, v'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu leolamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. On pages 152 and 153, we find the Shema, followed by the Ve'ahavta. I invite you to prepare yourself for these words of Torah. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meotecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlachtecha b'derech, uvshachbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. Leman tizkeru ba'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kedoshim lohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, v'hiyot lachem Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. Please be seated. And we read responsively on page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again, the will came of fresh force.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations shall be one and at peace. Then we shall rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, Mi kamocha neder bakodesh, Nora tehilo dosefele, Nora tehilo dosefele, Malechutecha ra'u banecha bokei ayam, Lifnei Moshe ze'eli, Anu ve'ameru Adonai, Imloch le'olam va'ed, Mi kamocha bailim Adonai, Mi kamocha neder bakodesh, Nora tehilo dosefele, Nora tehilo dosefele. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter. in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Vayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. We come now to the central portion of our prayer service. The Amidah begins on page 164 and continues over the next few pages. I invite you to prepare yourself for this set of blessings. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah Rav leHoshia, Morid HaTal, Mechalkel Chaim beChesed, Mechaye HaKol beRachamim Rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umidam melech, melech memit umechayeh, umatmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. We continue on page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh haShabbat. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. Page 178. Shalom. Shalom. Oh my God, I'm stuck between the two versions. El amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. B'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol ed uv'chol sha'ah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We take a moment now for silent prayer. You might use the words on pages 180 and 181 or the meditations of your own heart. Yehiyu leratzon imrei fi vehegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri. Vegoali. May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable to you, Adonai, our rock and redeemer. We turn our thoughts now to those who are ill, injured, recovering from surgeries, and in need of our prayers for healing. We have on our list Rosalind Cantu, Lori Perry, Nick Joliot, Rhonda Butler, Minna Dornfeld, Ira Dornfeld, Frank Lerner, Ali France, Shmuel Yosef ben Yisrael Svi, Ann Cohen, Anita Ash, Patty Bergeron, Josiah Miller, Debbie Rubenstein, Jed Michael, Kathy Katz, and Taliba Hassan. And if anyone else has a name they'd like to add, please do so. Who got rescued from a river? Okay. Well, okay. The Mishaberach is in the middle of page 371. And we hold in our hearts all those in need of prayers of healing in mind, body, and spirit. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We also hold in our hearts all those in our community who are active military duty, peacekeepers, and first responders, those whose jobs are dangerous so that our lives might not be. We have on that list Oni Hinnanen, Joshua Ehrlichman, Martin Brown, Howard Mergler, Kyle Smet, Andrew Booth, Joseph Cald, Pete Abelson, Jeremy Sharkey, Benjamin Hurd, Alexander Furman, Daniel Gilman, Curtis Miller, Rob Apgar, Ben Farrell, Caleb Menzies, Francis Petraka, Noah Kaplan, Aaron Breeding, Dakota Rollins, Jacob Duvris, Janet Ingraham, and Tyler Adcock. And of course, all those in the armed services and on ships at sea that tune in and watch us on our live stream. Though we don't know who or where you are, you're a part of our community as well. May the one who blessed our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and our mothers, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, bless those who are serving in our armed services. May God guard them and keep them from harm. If they find themselves in danger's path, may God bring them back whole of mind and body to all those who love them. May it be your will, Adonai Tzevaot, to lead them to safety and to protect them from each and every enemy and ambush. May God make their journey successful, guard their going out and coming in with mercy and love, and let them be blessed to return home with life and peace now and forever. And let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. This week's Torah portion is Parashat Ekev, which, like most of Deuteronomy, Moses reminds the people of all they have learned in the last 40 years, the commandments they have been commanded to observe, the times they fell short, and what will happen once they cross over into the Holy Land if they neglect God's commandments again without Moses there to intercede for them anymore. Among the commandments and promises of blessings and curses, this parsha contains one of the repetitions of what we know as the Shema and Ve'ahavta. In the chapter for Parshat Ekev in Torah Queries, weekly commentaries on the Hebrew Bible, Rabbi Ari Lev Fornari writes, although the words of the Shema and the Ve'ahavta, which we recite in this Torah portion, are commonly used to describe the practice of laying tefillin, for me they resonate with the practice of wearing a chest binder. For me, a chest binder signifies part of my relationship to my body and my gender in much the same way as a talit katan, the tzitzit worn under clothes, is a daily reminder of my relationship to God. By integrating these two practices, I have created a new ritual object that deepens my understanding of my gender, my Judaism, myself, and my relationship to the divine. The talit katan chest binder is a way for me to mark my body and sanctify my gender. Wearing a talit katan chest binder is simultaneously observing and reclaiming Jewish tradition. It is reclaiming what observance looks like on the heels, which akev means heel, so he's playing with words there, on the heels of feminist Jewish thinkers who have challenged me to do it differently and inspired me to accessorize along the way. In the first half of the Parsha, the focus is largely on the concepts of blessings and curses, the consequences of our adherence to God's law. While our halacha for saying a blessing over the act of fulfilling a mitzvah is not explicitly stated in the Torah, it is derived from this parsha and supported by other similar passages throughout Deuteronomy. The rabbis taught that deriving pleasure from anything in this world without saying a blessing over it is akin to stealing from God, and that performing a commanded act without saying the blessing is as though one has not fulfilled the commandment at all. Furthermore, the rabbis state that one should say 100 blessings a day. It is possible a traditionally praying Jew might get there just by blessing everything they eat, reciting the Amidah 3 times a day, saying the Asher Yatzar after going to the bathroom, especially if they're Ashkenazi and they're still eating Shavuot leftovers, and so on. But it's likely that to get to 100 every day, we would probably have to get creative and bless the joys in our lives in more personal ways. Rabbi Fornari demonstrates one possibility for such a personalization of our daily blessings by taking something that already exists in our tradition and reimagining it in a way that feels more meaningful, that better appreciates the complexities and nuances of the world God has made. Much of codified halakha is binary, but God's creation is not. And the meandering arguments of the Talmud make clear that the binarist distillation of Jewish law was meant to be a tool to give structure to our community, not a tether to bind ourselves with. Unless you're Ari Lev Fornari and that you need that. But when the specifics of the 1,000-year-old codes no longer give shape to our lives, better to expand and develop the framework than to give it up entirely. Pulling together threads of our tradition like the fringes of the talit, we gather pieces of ourselves and put together our souls as a reunified piece, a larger holy whole. Hear, O Israel, the divine abounds everywhere and dwells in everything. The many are one, as Marcia Falk offers in her book of blessings. May you find ways to make the old new and establish the new as old, ritually secure and comforting. May you find abundant joy in the world and remember to bless each gift in your life. May you weave together your personal Judaism and relationship to the divine out of the many offerings of our traditions. And may that bring you wholeness and peace, true shalom. Amen, and Shabbat Shalom. We turn toward our concluding prayers now with Aleinu on page 586. Sophia, will you come open the ark with me? Please prepare yourself for the ark to be opened. Aleinu l'shabeach hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, vigor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad. Ushemo echad. You may be seated. And now we turn our thoughts to all those who are no longer with us in body, but remain with us in spirit. This week marks a yahrzeit for Mary Reinerson, Samuel Cohen, Helga Eckstein, Perry Hamilton, and David Avery. And we are still within the year of mourning for Gary Sullivan, Debbie Taylor Wright, Mark Anderson, Samuel Fallis, Elaine Skolnick, Edith Herman, Phyllis Rosen, Jill Rosen, Dr. Jack Schuber, Aaron Scanlon, and Lieutenant Colonel Stanley Heath. If anyone else has a name they'd like to share at this time, please do so. Mourners and those who wish to join them may rise for the Mourners Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'almei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudasha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'sherata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. 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 V'imru, amen. A few announcements before we conclude. We're still got another week of sort of quiet, but next week, next Sunday, the 28th, is our annual open house community picnic. A great time to come and meet more congregants, to become a member if you're not already, enroll your children in religious school, etc. So come by anytime between 12 and 3 next Sunday. Our book club meeting is the following Wednesday, August 31st. That's whatever that Wednesday is, the last Wednesday in August. I still don't know which months have 30 days and which have 31. We read The Choice, a novel of Talmud and love by Maggie Anton. It's a good book. Join us if you're available. And then after Labor Day, things really kick off. So this is a few weeks ahead, but mark your calendars. September 9th is our Patriot Shabbat, our annual Shabbat to honor first responders and local dignitaries in our community. September 4th is the first day of religious school, and it'll be here before you know it. High Holy Days, Slichot is September 17th. Rosh Hashanah starts September 25th. So stay tuned. Check out our website, the emails, the Facebooks, whatever, and mark your calendars for it's going to get real busy real fast. You're not going to know what hit you. I already feel like I don't know what hit me, and it's a month out. So, Did I miss anything? Yeah.
So, Ethan and I's wedding is coming up. There's an open invitation to come to this. Is it good, or are you going to put more information September 10th?
Yay! Excellent. Okay. Our closing song will be Adon Olam on page 625. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li nasa v'chefza kol azai malach shemo nikra Adon Olam ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora Adon Olam Vehu haya, vehu hove, vehu yeh batifara Adon Olam, asher malach, v'terem kol du-du-du-du, yitzir nivra, v'nasa v'chefza kol. Azai malach shemo nikra Adon Olam, vehu echad, ve'ein sheni, Laham shilo lahachbira Adon Olam, beli reshit, beli tachlit, velo haos v'hamisra Adon Olam, asher malach, v'terem kol, yitzir nivra li nasa v'chefza kol. Azai malach shemo nikra Adon Olam, vehu eli, v'chai goali, v'tzor chavli be'etzara Adon Olam, vehu nisi, umanosli, manat kosi b'yom ekra Adon Olam, asher malach, v'terem kol. Yitzir nivra li nasa v'chefza kol. Azai malach shemo nikra Adon Olam. Miyado afkiruchi be'et ishan ve'a'ira Adon Olam. Ve'imruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira Adon Olam, asher malach v'terem kol, yitzir nivra li nasa v'chefza kol, azai malach shemo nikra Adon Olam. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please join us for an outdoor oneg and not necessarily in that order, correct. We will bless first, because otherwise it's stealing from God.